Warning, this video was recorded at about 2 in the morning, so I apologize if I make any bad takes on the bosses in this video. Anyway, onto the video. As you guys can see, we're doing another tier list video. This time we are ranking all the bosses except Deerclops for some reason. I don't know why he's not on here. We are ranking all the Terraria bosses based off of difficulty alone. So this is the difficulty when you would fight the boss from beginning of the game to end of the game. I would like to note first off that this is my opinion. My definition of hard is probably a lot different than your definition of hard. Pause on that, by the way. So maybe you'll disagree with me, and if you do, make sure that you let me know in the comments, and I will heart your comment to let you know that I have read your comment. So, anyway, let's get into the tier list. Starting off with King Slime. Anyway, starting off with the Eye of Cthulhu. Honestly, for when you fight the Eye of Cthulhu, it depends on your difficulty. If you're on normal mode, he's pretty easy. If you're on expert mode, I would say he kind of ranges between pretty hard and not bad. I'm gonna put him in not bad because if you've got the right gear, like if you have Hermes boots, a long platform, a lot of grenades, he becomes pretty easy. So I'm gonna put him probably at the top of not bad, at least for now. Eater of Worlds is pretty easy, kind of no matter what difficulty you're playing on. Brain of Cthulhu, on the other hand, I don't know. He kind of hovers between here and here. I would say that the Brain of Cthulhu is pretty hard, especially if you're playing on For the Worthy, which is just nightmarish. Please don't remind me of that. Actually, after further consideration, I think I'm gonna bump the Eater of Worlds to the top of no, the bottom of not bad. I think that the Eater of Worlds, with the gear that you get some Jester's arrows, you get some good armor. With a tendon bow or a demon bow, you can kind of just rip them to shreds as long as you have a good enough arena for them. So I would say at the bottom of not bad. I would put the Brain of Cthulhu at the end of this list. He's probably going to be at the bottom of pretty hard, but I would still think I would still say that the Brain of Cthulhu is harder than the Eye of Cthulhu and the Eater of Worlds. Queen Bee, I mean, Queen Bee is also fairly difficult. I would honestly say she's more difficult than the Brain of Cthulhu. The main thing with Queen Bee is that I think her defense goes up the more damage she takes, or the less health she has, which can make her pretty hard to defeat, and obviously, well, I mean, Master Mode and Expert Mode exists, which makes her a lot harder. I would say for the gear that you get, by this point you have access to Molten Armor. After you've beaten the Brain of Cthulhu, you've got access to Molten Armor. You've probably got a Molten Bow, or a Molten Fury. Sorry, not Molten Bow. You've got a lot of good weapons, is what I'm trying to say. So, I would say that she's probably at the bottom of pretty hard because you kind of got to know how to avoid her attacks, and you probably should not fight her in the beehive. So yeah, I'd say this is good placement, at least for now. For now, maybe. I don't know. Skeletron used to kick my butt. I'm gonna put Skeletron in hard for when you fight him. Skeletron is like that one major kick in the pants, at least when you're playing expert mode or master mode, which is what I'm kind of basing this list off of. He's like a really big kick in the pants. I mean, he is just ridiculous on expert and master mode. I mean, if you don't prepare for Skeletron for expert and master mode, you're just gonna get slam dunked on. I'm sorry, like Skeletron is just balling on you. And I think because of all that, Skeletron is gonna go in the hard category, and well, you know, I mean, he is in the hard category, and well, he is made of bones, so I mean, you could say that Skeletron has a bone wall of flesh. Wall of Flesh, probably one of my favorite bosses. Wall of Flesh is hard. Yeah, I would say that Wall of Flesh is significantly, I mean, especially, once again, if you don't prepare for the Wall of Flesh. He's definitely, I would say that he is harder than Skeletron. Actually, no, I think Wall of Flesh is harder. I have more troubling experiences with the Wall of Flesh than I do Skeletron. Because, I think it's just the fact that he's a very intimidating boss. And, you know, it feels like no matter what playthrough I do, the Wall of Flesh is always super scary to me. I don't know why. I always, like, over-prepare for the Wall of Flesh. Yeah, if you're not prepared for Wall of Flesh, once again, he's just gonna dunk. So, I would definitely say because of that, he's at the top of the hard category. At least for now, I'd say. Queen Slime, I would say, is way harder than... I mean, when you fight her, she's way harder than both of these guys. I don't know why, I just had so much trouble with Queen Slime. Probably because I fought her like 15 times to get Crystal Assassin armor. Here's my advice: do not fight her in a small arena. It will go bad. The gelatin will bounce everywhere. It will hurt. It will suck. Do not fight her in an enclosed arena. But aside from that, I still think that she's harder than Wall of Flesh and Skeletron for when you do fight her. Destroyer, I mean, he might even be more pathetic than King Slime. No, I mean, he can at least one-shot you. That's the one thing that Destroyer gets. That's the one thing you get, buddy. I'm sorry. It's just, this is the way it has to be. That's the way it is. The twins are hard, man. Like, the twins are just like... I would probably put the twins above Queen Slime, at least if it's your first time fighting them, because, like, once again, I feel like the twins are another pretty big kick in the pants when it comes to the mechanical bosses, because you have to worry about 2 different bosses, basically. Cursed Flames suck, lasers suck. If you suck, you can get both of them into their second phase, which is bad. They do a lot of damage. Yeah, they're definitely at the top of hard. Skeletron Prime is the second easiest mechanical boss. He's pretty hard. He's not terrible, but for when you do fight him, you've probably fought him last. You've probably fought Destroyer first, then Twins, and then Skeletron Prime, and by that point you're kind of like, okay, this is kind of just going a little where's the good stuff, you know? So yeah, I mean, he's not too difficult. He's basically Skeletron on crack. I mean, as long as you can avoid basic attacks, he's really not that bad. Plantera can either be easy or hard, depending on your arena size. So I'm gonna compromise and put her at the top of hard, because Plantera is, she is difficult, and she excels in confined spaces. The main strategy for Plantera is just kind of rotating around her until like you just slowly wean her down and then kill her. That's the main strategy that you can use for Plantera. But when she goes into her second phase and speeds up, well, I mean, you kind of need to really improvise, like, quickly, because she can speed up quick and just eat you. So that's why Waffle Time, he built that. I think he calls it the Osagoff Tunnel, which is a acronym for a I'll just throw it up on the screen, and it works. I mean, it's a pretty effective strategy, but she's still difficult to deal with. I mean, Plantera is just really hard. So, and now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm gonna bump Skeletron to the top of pretty hard. Yeah, I think that's a good decision. Skeletron Prime, in my opinion, is easier for when you do fight him, because by that point you're very upgraded, and Skeletron Prime's just not that much of a challenge, honestly. And also, I'm gonna bump Eater of Worlds down to pretty easy. Golem is Golem makes me sad. I'll just say that. He's harder than I mean, he's harder than the Eater of Worlds, but he just doesn't put up that big of a fight, even still. Like, the upgrades he got are just, they're not extraordinary, you know? I mean, you can no longer stop his fists mid-flight, which was just stupid. I don't know why that was ever a design decision. Now they just go no matter what. That was a good change, but his attacks are really easy to dodge. He's very slow. Golem is very, very, very slow. So, I mean, at least compared to all these guys. So, he's definitely at the bottom of pretty easy. Or not at the bottom, at the top of pretty easy. Harder than the Eater of Worlds. Definitely harder than the Eater of Worlds. But even on Master Mode, he's just not that much of a threat. At least in my experience. Duke Fishron is very hard. I mean, he's just... I don't know why I always always struggle fighting Duke Fishron. I don't get what makes him so hard to me, but it's just, ugh. I just don't, ugh. He's just like, I rarely do fight him. The only reason I do fight him is for the Shrimpy Truffle. But every time I do fight him, I just get completely just stomped on. Like, it's horrible. I don't know why Duke Fishron is so hard, like, to fight. I seriously do not know why, but you know who is harder than Duke Fishron? Empress of Light. Fighting her on Master Mode is horrific. I still have not recorded all the footage I need for the How to Beat Empress of Light video, because she is that hard. Once you learn her attack patterns, she does become a lot easier, but that does not change the fact that she's basically a bullet hell boss. I mean, that's basically what she is, so it's hard to beat her when everything else up to this point has not been bullet hell-esque. Unless you're really good at bullet hells, you're not going to be good at fighting Empress of Light, and in my opinion, she is, at least in Master Mode, the hardest boss in the entire game, bar none. She's ridiculous. And then you have the Lunatic Cultist, which is like, ugh. The Lunatic Cultist is just, he's not very intimidating. I mean, like, even like isn't he also a Terrarian? So, and like, the Terrarian himself is 5 foot tall. I think he is exactly 5 foot tall, which would make this guy 5 foot tall. If you saw this guy in real life, you could punt him across the world. This guy is teeny tiny. Lunatic Cultist, I'm sorry. You've got a really cool design, but you're like not that intimidating. I'm sorry. Your attacks just kind of suck. And finally, the big bad end boss, Moonlord. Moonlord is... he fluctuates on the spectrum from time to time. Because if you do not have the resources necessary to fight him, he is very hard. Like, at the bottom of very hard, I would say. But if you have a Shrimpy Truffle, if it's raining, if you built a house for your nurse and you can teleport back for heals, he's kind of at the bottom of hard. So I'm gonna make a compromise here and put him in the middle of hard, above the twins, below Plantera. That is where I'm gonna put him. If you disagree, then let me know. So, yeah, that's the tier list. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out. Whoa!